Some small businesses can't afford a directory listing, but they have skills and they have talent. Their talent matches the hard work and the know-how. Their workplace can be from the kitchen or a van. The business might be set up in a home or a garage. You don't find these providers listed in a book directory, but you can find them on eqicaribbean.com, the online tool you'll need to search for products and services. Because as long as you are searching, we'll be here to list them.
Yes, after a 1 week break, due to some technical difficulties, back is court in session. I'm here with the two Avengers, Tyrone King and Keelan Phillips, and the Bajan Scout, Alan Pinder. So we are here now to discuss the NBA. Obviously, NBA, you don't have to have any first things first or even have a first take. This is the only take you should have. This is court in session. And right now we are going to go to Mr. Avenger number 1, Tyrone King, and he'll tell us about the East in the NBA. A lot of happened in the last 2 weeks. Your take on it there, Tyrone?
Well, this week for the East, what I'm going to talk about is basically an injury report of some of the top teams in the league. I'm going to start. This is a random order, so I'm just going to talk about them as I think of them. I think the first one I'm going to talk about is Philadelphia. They have gotten better with the James Harden trade, but James Harden sat out. I think it was one game, which was versus the Heat the other day, and that team looked terrible, which is strange because it's not like they lost anything besides Steph Curry, who was hurt anyway. But that team looked terrible when he was not on the floor. I don't know if they have made some tweaks offensively or defensively since he got him there, but when he was not on the court, they looked bad, and I mean really bad. Miami just focused on Joel Embiid. I think he still dropped a lot of points, but they focused on Embiid, and I think that for the team that was basically the hottest team in the league since they got Harden, I think points-wise, I mean, they scored like 80 something points.
82 or something like that.
Yeah, like it was a clinic. Miami put on a clinic against them, and Joel Embiid and Sixers usually give us problems. So that was actually something interesting to note and something to keep an eye on. Any games that Harden misses, I will be looking at how they do going forward. Tobias Harris has struggled since James Harden has come to that team, mostly because he's a rhythm player. And that one game when he was out, it seems like he still couldn't get his rhythm going. So maybe they have changed the offense a bit. That's Philadelphia. I want to talk about, obviously, the Miami Heat. They just got back Victor Oladipo. Nothing has really changed besides the fact that two of our younger guys, at least in that first game, they called it a celebration of him being healthy. So Lord knows what's going to happen in his ways going forward. I think he's going to get the nod, obviously. Like he's going to get a chance to show what he can do. And he looked good in the few minutes. He hit 2 threes. He had a dunk, which stopped my heart for a second. Not gonna lie. He fell on the floor in that game. And let me tell you, have you heard the arena? Everyone's like, so every time he hits the ground now, it's just going to be a hard stop. But at the end of the day, we were the first in the East, even before he was there. I think Miami's going to be pretty solid. Markieff Morris is supposed to come back within the coming weeks as well, from what I heard. I think that's why they actually signed Haywood Highsmith, who is basically a rookie, drafted rookie, to a 3-year deal, because they could have gone after a veteran power forward out there, but they didn't. And the speculation is that they believe Morris will be returning shortly. And in my opinion, I don't know where he's going to get played. No, because Caleb Martin is not someone you can take off the court. Caleb Martin is one of their best, I think their second best bench player, apart from Tyler Hero at this point. Arguably, him or Gabe Vincent. And it was interesting that Gabe Vincent didn't play when Oladipo played him or Strus. So we'll have to see what goes on there. But the more interesting news for me is Chicago. Chicago has looked dreadful in the past few weeks. Chicago has looked really bad. And for the team that was basically the hottest team in the league at one point, injury bug hitting them at this point in the season is just unfortunate. When's the last time they won a game? I don't think they've won a game in a while. And the
They're on a 5-game,
losing streak.
but they
losing streak.
play. I think they play Detroit next, so maybe they could get back on board
And the
with that
saddest
game.
part about it is like it feels as though they're being targeted. Like anyone that can play a lick of defense, bam, injury. Lonzo Ball, injury. Caruso, injury. Even Javonte Smart was hurt the other day. Like not Smart, Javonte Green.
Yeah.
Javonte Smart is a Heat G League player. My bad. But yeah, those guys are literally missing. It's like a football team missing their defensive line. Like
Yeah.
an entire section of their team is gone. They're scoring points. DeMar DeRozan still doing his things. Zach LaVine looking great. Vooch actually looks a lot better than the beginning of the season. But they can't stop my grandmother without her
Even
walking.
when
It's crazy.
you think it's right. Even when like Vooch isn't like a stellar defender, but he would have been the best person to mark Embiid, and he was out for that game as well. So it's like even that.
One thing I would say though, well, two things I would say. One, they picked up Tristan Thompson. I remember in the beginning of the season they said their one thing that they lack is that locker presence that is a veteran and a winner and has been to the finals and the playoffs and can talk to them about. Because when you look at their roster, like no one on their roster really has playoff experience. Like DeMar DeRozan who goes and gets beat all the time, and they needed someone that has been there to keep that young locker room intact. And not only did they get that, but Tristan Thompson is a backup big behind Vooch that plays defense, can switch onto guards for short spurts, and rebounds like a crazy person. So that was an excellent pick in my opinion. I watched him. He went to kill Bam in that game with a dunk the other day. We played Miami had just some of the best teams in the East. And when I tell you kill, like you can go and look for the highlights in that game.
Yeah, I remember that play.
He got fouled, but
he got fouled.
Hit Bam with I mean like top 10 dunk of the year dunk. He was gonna hit his head so hard, and I was just like, Tristan Thompson. Where has he been? Sacramento? Where has he been recently?
He was at Sacramento, and then he got traded to the Pacers. Then Pacers waived him. Sorry, Alan. Actually, you were happy about that anyway. But
it's like the whole different thing. Just go to a bad one, and nothing happens, and all of a sudden you get on a good team. So let me dunk. You know, it's crazy.
When you motivated, you just play a lot better. As a fact.
Unfortunately, there's been no timetable yet on Lonzo Ball's return, but Caruso actually has started back. Today he started back taking contact in practice, and I think he's clear for full court activity. So
Lonzo's doing it off court. I think he's not clear for contact, but he was doing court stuff. Already. He and Patrick Williams actually. So
I forgot about him, but
yeah,
they're gonna get back some. They're gonna get back their left back, their center back, and their right back shortly. They can play some defense, and that team. We know how that team looked in the beginning. I think Caruso alone gives them a chance. I mean, Alonso are just overkill for some of these teams. Not to mention the way they play different when Alonso was playing. So that'll be interesting to see how that goes.
All right, so that's the East, and well, you know the Heat is leading the East, and once the Heat is leading, Avenger number one is a very happy man. The world is a good place for him. So we go to the West now, and Avenger number two, Keelan Phillips. Tell me what in the West, and please don't start telling me about Lakers. We all know this.
Or Sacramento.
And when the Heat are doing well, Tehran is happy. When the Spurs are losing games right now, I'm also happy because that means we get higher pick. So, I always got started with me trending up and trending down. Trending down, the Warriors, they picked up a win last night against the Clippers, but they lost 5 out of their last 6. Well, obviously excluding the win last night. Blazers, they've lost 5 games in a row. I'm not even sure if they're trying anymore. I mean, who knows? Draft picks. The Mavs have won 5 games in a row, and the Timberwolves, who are, actually a decent looking team. Anthony Edwards wasn't playing for a couple of those games, but I think he is cleared to come back and play. They've won 5 games in a row. My player of the week, well, this one's a tight because Luca, he averaged 33, 11, and 8 this week. I think, well, Mavericks obviously won 5 games in a row, so they were undefeated. But Jokic, oh my God, is there anything this man can't do at this point? Like he averaged 33, 14, 9 on 68.
Oh
I
wait, he
mean,
does not know.
he does not obviously at the highest level, but I mean, like he's not scrub on defense anymore. Like, so those are my two player of the week. Team of the week, Mavs, because they beat the Jazz and the Warriors twice in like the last 5 games, so I give them. My MVP tracker. A lot of people are saying that Embiid is the front runner. Me personally, I still have Jokic because a lot of people try to say, well, Embiid's record is better, and then I already look at the record. Their record is separated by like 1 game. Anybody would think that Embiid is 51, I think, and Jokic is 26 and 26. Like one team has 40 wins, the other has 39. Like it's literally almost. Huh? But that's 33, 15, and 16. Like both bigs are exceptional, and it's really unfortunate because of the way how the format for the all NBA team is that one of them is going to be on the second team because it's not front court, back court, it's literally center. So one of them is going to end up being on the second team, and clearly they should be on the all NBA first team. But the list is Jokic, Embiid, Giannis, and fourth place. I actually have Luka, who been playing out of his mind the last couple months actually, and then basically, and then Toronto, the top 5, Steph and DeRozan have both been losing games. So like, if you want to put either one of them in that spot for now, or you could put Ja even. In terms of, I don't want to talk about them, but I can talk about them a little bit just to spite some people. The Los Angeles Lakers. Now, this is I saw that people were wondering, should the Lakers shut down Braun because he had this nagging knee injury that has been going on for a while, and it is he has said that it's not gonna get healthy until the off season when he can rest. So like, is in his best interest maybe to like I don't think even if Braun doesn't play, I don't think they're gonna fall right out of the play. Like, it's not just the Lakers. I don't see the Spurs or the Trailblazers catching up to them.
No. You don't want the Spurs to catch up to them.
I definitely don't want the Spurs to catch up to them, but I don't see the Trailblazers either. So like, I don't see the.
So don't forget before the Blazers went the street, they were right there.
Yeah, but then they lost 5 games in a row. So so I don't know. But I don't think that they will draw all the way out. But I do see them dropping maybe to that 10 if Braun has to miss games. Yeah, I think he should. If he can go without anything, good. But if it's like any sort of maybe, I think he should rest because at the day, the end of the day, he's trying to play. No, not winning. I mean, like long-term goals is that he said he wants to play with Bronny. He wants to. He's eventually gonna pass Kareem at all-time point. So like those things are gonna happen, and it's best if obviously he's healthy to do those things. So maybe they should rest him. Who knows? AD came back. Lakers still stink. Moving on. Warriors.
Yeah, they really can't get a door.
Yeah, a door, an archway, the ocean, anything. Nothing. But the Warriors. We can talk about the Warriors, and then just one other topic. Draymond has targeted, I can't remember if anybody could tell me the exact date, March 14th.
March 14th.
Right, yeah. Teron knows for sure because that man is on his fantasy, so he's waiting for his return.
And he's one of my favorite players.
Yeah. Draymond, and I saw Wiseman has been sent to the G League to get some games in, so to get his conditioning and stuff up to par. So those guys should be making a return. Obviously, Draymond before Wiseman. I think they really, really, really need Draymond in terms of their defense. It has slacked off a bit against like some of the better teams, not necessarily maybe against some of the lower teams, but against the better teams, Draymond is definitely needed. I still think that Wiseman is a big body that they will need against the bigs in the West. Like, I mean, like, you in the West alone, you are like, in general, to win, you have to go through and be Giannis, DeAndre Ayton, Jokic. Like, you need bigs that can mark people for the top guys in the league. So I think that he will help them out a lot. But you know, some of the younger guys having a hand run in his play, Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody, they had a couple of games where they play well. Like, they kind of have almost like I don't want to say perfect, but they have vets, but yet they still have young guys that maybe that can help them out in the future and not become necessarily stars, or become quality players that, I mean, if they even flop one like this year in terms of them not winning, package them, you know, maybe they could get somebody else. But because me and Teron had discussed it last night, if the Suns if the Warriors would catch the Suns, I don't think that's gonna happen now, because like campaign apparently is Chris Paul, because campaign apparently is Chris Paul 2.0. I know, definitely picked him up in fantasy, Alan. Got you. But in terms of, I don't think that they're going to catch him. Actually, the Grizzlies have passed out the Warriors right now for second place, and that leads me to my final topic. The question is, will the standings change? I don't really think the standings are going to change that much in the West. Like, I think everybody is pretty much set. The only changes that may make will not be significant, maybe for matchup purposes, yeah. But like, as of right now, I think the Warriors and Grizzlies, they will battle out for the second, third. I think the Dark Horses, the Nuggets and Mavs, maybe catching the Jazz for that 4th spot. I think the 4, 5, and 6, I think they can interchange depending on a bad week or not. I don't think anybody will get to the top 6. I think 7. I think the Timberwolves are pretty set. I think they have a good lead against the Clippers. Don't think the Clippers will change. And if if the Pelicans and Lakers change, all that does is determine who's gonna be at home first to lose in the first round against the Suns. So I don't think the standings will change that much. Being in the part in the West where it's like, not you want to hurry up and get to the playoffs, but it's kind of like not really much that you could dissect per se. Just, you know, waiting until the end and teams fine tune themselves. So that's all I got out West.
Right. So, but it'd be interesting in the West, because Warriors dropped like 5 in a row or something like that, and then you get the news that Draymond is targeting the 14th of March. Wiseman should be shortly thereafter. So they should be in a good stretch. But I'm still low. I was high on the Warriors. I'm still high on the Warriors, but I feel the Phoenix Suns, a lot of people will have to do some work to beat Phoenix Suns. Because I think, and I'm not even thinking about the winning of the games in regular season, I'm talking about the postseason. I think that they're deep enough to take the West. But I would love to be able to see Warriors and Suns play in a 7-game series for the final of the West. I think that would be exciting to watch. Right, so that is East with the Tehran King leading Heat, and the West with the losing Lakers and Avenger number 2. Now we are at the line, and tonight at the line, what we want to discuss really is this trade, is the Heat and the Bucks in trouble since this trade happened, and how do you feel the Nets will still come out of the East? I will start with Bajan Scout. What do you think? You think that the Nets will, get out of the East?
Well, if they get out of the East, they're going to have a very tough road ahead of them, because right now they're probably going to have to be in the play-in tournament as it is, and then trying to work their way out from there. Potentially setting up a very I don't think the Heat really want potentially if they have to pull that 1-A matchup. But
I don't.
But it's going to be great for Brooklyn to meet the East right now. Team on paper can definitely get it done, but there are definitely so many unknown factors for me right now. Seeing as Ben Simmons isn't ready yet, we're not sure exactly when he's going to be ready. You just don't play basketball for an entire year and then come back in form as well. So we're going to be trying to catch form while they're playing in the playoffs as well. So we don't know how much Kyrie's going to play for home game. We know KD is going to be spectacular, but I don't think him on his own, as great as he is, I don't think he can do it on his own. I think he needs the other guys chipping in. Maybe the Miguel. Well, again, I can't even say they can go the first round of that because they're not going to be a 4 for third seed, and I can see them going home in the first round.
Okay, and that is interesting. But Teron, I know you had a perspective on the Heat on the Nets. No one wants to see Nets in the first round, but I still don't feel they are at the level that they could take the East. What do you think?
Honestly, it all depends on, as Alan said, what happens with Ben and how Ben looks, and if he even comes back. Because as we speak, there's no timetable for his return, and as you know, there are not that many games left. We don't know how serious his back thing is with him. If it links in time, they may be a first round exit simply because their defense is subpar, and the Miami Heat are in first. If they come out of the playoff, the play-ins in 8th, they're in trouble. If they come out of the play-in in 7th and they have to face Philly or Milwaukee, they're in trouble. I feel as though the only way they're not in trouble is, one, if they climb to at least the 6th spot and get a softer matchup. Well, then again, the spot will still be the other one from Philly.
So they were still,
I don't know how soft the box will be.
Yeah.
They were gonna get 4 or 5.
and Ben would have to be immaculate, which he's not. So I honestly, at first, my perspective was that great players find a way, and I still stick with that. If Ben comes in and looks good enough that they can get, I don't know how many more stops a game they might need, but a stop a game because they don't get any, and then you have Kyrie and KD for enough games. It also, don't sleep on that whole mandate thing with Kyrie, because that second mandate that's keeping him from playing is supposed to expire at some point as well. I don't know what the point is, but that mandate that's keeping him out. I think the first one was dropped, the general mandate, but then the private sector mandate, obviously the NBA comes under the private sector, is the second one that is still keeping him out. And as you know, just with the mandates we have here in Barbados, they all have an expiration date, and then if you want, you can renew them. But the way things are going in the year, I don't think it's going to get renewed. If it drops, it's just about when it's going to drop, and if it drops before the playoffs or before the first round at least, Kyrie could save the day for them offensively, because I think with the games that Kyrie misses, Dragic has not acclimated with them to this point yet. Seth Curry and Patty Mills are doing their thing. Blake Griffin, I think was hurt or was hurt or something like that. That team, just as it stands, that team is not good enough. I personally beat them the other day, and I think actually I have a photo on my phone with their last 20 games, and there are hardly any W's in there. They're like
3-17.
Jesus, that's terrible.
3-17.
That's terrible for any professional basketball team.
The thing is, my thing about it is that I have 2 sides. Obviously, in a perfect world for the Nets, Ben comes by and he looks great. The offense click. Everybody knows their role. They figure out on the bus. They sing Kumbaya and they hold hands and then they do everything well. But in a more realistic situation, they have to work out things on the fly. And as we have seen by NBA players, even pros, it takes a while sometimes to get things work. Sometimes it just clicks and but that's more of a rare situation. Like, all right, perfect example, James Harden. James Harden is a pro, and it took him a while for him to get used to the new rules for something, because he's a creature of habit, like nearly all the NBA is. So when you have like non-defensive players by nature, to get them to buy into defensive habits is not something that's necessarily gonna stick with them in like the first maybe couple of games. Like that's something that, because when they're panicking or not, or when they're going back to what they know is not really good defensive skills. So then will end up like half-heartedly closing out. And that's the difference between an open look and a not open look. So if you had to tell me Nets versus the field, I mean, I'm picking the field because the field has Giannis and Embiid and Harden and DeRozan and everybody else. Can they maybe win a round? Yeah, yeah.
Against
But
who,
to
though?
get out of the
They're
East, they have to be a combination of they will have to beat two or three of the 76ers, Bucks, Heat, and Bulls, or Celtics. I don't know if they can beat 3 out of the 5 of those in a 7-game series.
I don't even think they can beat the Celtics. That's the truth.
They really tough, and I think the Bulls might. Well, again, when the Bulls get healthy.
Yeah, we don't even know.
Honestly, their best chance is probably Philly. Philly has the least wing defenders. Philly has the least defensive anything actually, and they have James Harden, who we all know is a cone. Someone that you can stop, but and he's on the court all the time, so it's always gonna be a mismatch. You put James Harden in a switch situation with KD, or a situation where he has to constantly see KD coming off a pick and roll, and he's the person defending the screener.
Mm-hmm.
You have honestly, right?
Yeah.
Listen, I think somebody will get KD will get arrested.
Get drug tested after the game.
Yeah. I mean, KD will tell you.
And then something we could.
James is terrible defensively, like in the playoffs, though.
How good is this?
You mean when he wants to?
How good is this?
In the playoffs, he has a little more vision. He's not gonna do it in the regular season. But in the playoffs, particularly when he has to play against bigger players, in the post, it's really good. But if you match with Kyrie and that, it's good.
Yeah, it's food. It's food all day, every day.
How good is this Philly team? Philly versus Nets. Ben or no Ben? Who do y'all think? Because as I said, Dwight Howard looks terrible.
Yeah, that would be interesting though. What would be interesting about that is that two teams trying to lose one game, right? Because now you told them not playing the Lordy, so it would be very funny.
Nets got a chance.
Yeah, but Nets will got a chance. Nets will got a chance because of the volume. Once Kyrie could play some more games, they will be able to think. But I don't count those teams. I like the Heat. I like the Warriors. I like Phoenix. Right. I like Bucks because when you look at them, those are like the top 5 in defense. Right. When the playoff comes and the games get slower, right? Yeah. And people could work you out for an entire series, that'd be the difference there. The difference be deep, right? And it's nice. It's really nice to have a lot 3 the top 5 offensive players. But if you can't guard after that, right? I mean, you can score 150, but people score 151, so it's still lost. So, to me, I don't see them. As you said, we're gonna get up to about 4th. To have a chance, but I don't see them even get out the plane. I really don't see it. And I don't have much. I may be wrong, but I don't have much faith in Nash either. I don't think he has the experience. Right, he doesn't have the experience to really I don't think he can really
outcoach
anybody in
that. Or like a Doc Rivers. I don't feel like
he's not even in. I don't even think he in. Well, I know. I can't see. I don't even know who which coach that he can match up against. Because when you butt up on Heat, Bucks,
even the Celtics.
right? I mean, Celtics. I mean, like,
That's a
shoot.
rookie coach. That's a rookie coach, but he's been an assistant at least. Steve
Yeah.
Nash hasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, Spoelstra will out-coach him for sure. But
Run laps
yeah,
around
I
him.
mean, but Bud from the Bucks might not kill him.
It's disappointing.
He might.
But
He
Giannis will. But
He
Giannis
did
will.
not adjust he did not adjust from game to game, you know. His
No, he doesn't.
games are terrible. Every single time the Miami Heat has beaten the Milwaukee Bucks since Eric Spoelstra and Bud have been the coaches, it has simply been because Spoelstra has won. Jimmy hasn't won. Bam hasn't won. Dragic, Laurie, nobody. Spoelstra. That man is just going to start playing chess, and Bud is just be like, what should I do?
Drop coverage.
He is
How to figure out drop
probably
coverage.
he's one of the better coaches in the league, and it's strange because LeBron wanted him to be replaced when he was there, and I know he has won.
Spoelstra is easily top 5.
Yeah, right now, I think he's in the top 5 coaches.
I know.
Yeah,
that is
top 3, man.
Oh, okay. So that is the East, the West, at the line. And now we have to go to our favorite segment, which is pick 5. Now, 2 weeks ago, we had a pick 5, and offline, a couple of people picked offline. Well, the Bajan Scout Alan Payne picked offline, but he came at 3 or 5, and everybody else was 4 or 5. So that is for that last week. Also, Avenger number 2 is leading the group with the best percentage. And Tehran is closely behind, very close. So the Avengers really are leading the pick 5. So this week we'll look now to see on this pick 5 who will do what. So on Thursday, Brooklyn is at Philly. No, Brooklyn is at Philly. KD and Kyrie will be able to play. Ben is suffering from Philly-titis, so he will not be able to play. But
I hope he doesn't travel or he might get attacked.
He's gonna be on the bench.
He's gonna be on the bench. Allegedly.
So tell me who which one are you going with? Tehran?
Oh, wait, who's healthy and who is at Philly, right? So that means
at Philly.
Yeah.
Only bench should be out. That's no worries.
Yeah. This is the thing we were just talking about. I don't mean to stretch out the pick 'em, right? But I just want to say something quick. I wanted to get in before in the last segment. I heard a reporter say that when James Harden with Embiid now, they have the top 2 best players in any series they go in. And I sat and thought about it, and I was like, they probably have a point unless Kyrie Irving is playing. And when Kyrie Irving is playing, I think it's damn close. Like, I don't want to say Joel Embiid is the scorer that KD is, but Joel Embiid has been unstoppable of late, and Harden and Kyrie, I'm going to go with Kyrie. I don't know about you guys. In terms of scoring,
you could go either way. Depending on what you want. If you want more playmaking, I feel like you could go there. If you want more offense, you could go.
Yeah, but right now I can tell what I want. I want to pick.
Right. So I'm gonna go with Philly.
You're going with Philly. So Aaron is going with Philly. What about you, Alice Pender, Bajan Scout?
Yeah, I will for this one as well.
You're going to Philadelphia too? Okay, so I'm going to Philadelphia. What about you, Keelan?
Kevin Durant.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Right. So Keelan going with Brooklyn. And Saints, 2 on Philly side, 2 should be on Brooklyn side. They're going with Brooklyn. On Friday, we have 2 games on Friday. There's nothing scientific about how you do it. So don't try to hurt yourself. On Friday, the Clippers is at Atlanta.
I am going to pick Clippers because I do not like Trae.
So Tehran going with Clippers.
Hopefully they win, but probably not. But I don't like Trae. So
what about you there?
I don't like Trae. I can't stand Trae.
Really?
Yeah, it's one of those weird quirks of Tehran. He just doesn't like Trae. I don't know why he just doesn't like Trae.
It's simply because I hate how he flails and wants to call every single time. Like, just play basketball. Just you don't have to. Let's not
He
get into that.
doesn't do it as much
Okay.
anymore.
All right.
He doesn't
Okay.
do it as much
You don't have your pick. What's your pick, Keelan?
I gave it the Clippers.
Keelan going with the Clippers.
Oh,
Alan?
man.
Give my man straight a little ugly.
Alan's going with.
Somebody has to. It ain't gonna be me.
So I really go with Alan has said because they're playing home.
Okay.
Also because we both play Clippers and
Right, yeah. So it gotta be. And then on same Friday, New York is at Memphis. I go for Memphis.
Ooh, New York sucks and Memphis is good. Who should I pick? Tough one. Somebody just telling me go with the guys on my fast. You don't go with John Morant. Seeing as Memphis does not suck.
Yeah, so I even think that Alan will go with Memphis too.
You know what? Next on to a game in the street. That's right now. Up here and go in.
So you go with next?
That is so interesting.
Okay, Alan going with Nick.
I think Ronald come out with 40-point game. So let's see if Arizona rolls.
Okay, well, I will leave you by yourself there this time. I'm really going.
Wait. No.
I am really going with Memphis.
Hey, Knicks are on. Alan made a good point. Knicks on a 2-game winning streak.
Yeah,
that is probably there.
All that's going to happen is that they will be on a 1-game losing streak.
No. That is Knicks on a 2-game winning streak. Ronald's coming off for a 6-point game, and I will say that's probably their longest streak. So I'm still going Memphis. Sorry, Alan. But
on Saturday is the big game though. On Saturday is the Cavs at Chicago. I go with Cavs.
That's not a big game.
It's a good game.
And Russell come back?
No.
Then that's not a big game. I'm going to go with Cavs as well.
Yeah, you're going with Cavs too? So, Tehran going with Cavs. What about you, Keelan?
You do know Jalen Allen, though, right?
I forgot about that. I'm still going Cavs though.
What about you, Keelan? You going with Cavs too?
I spoke about injuries earlier. Dang.
If I go in with who?
With Cavs.
DeMar DeRozan.
Does DeMar DeRozan play for the Cavs? I don't understand.
I'm sorry.
I confused.
There's a hard one for me because there's 2 on one side and there's one fella on the other side, but Cavs at Chicago. I feel Chicago win again. So I give with Chicago. I mean, the Cavs are ready, right?
Yes, you did when you have a Cavalier shirt. James Jones.
Okay, I went the Cavs. So I went Cavs. So who we miss? Alan? Who you going with?
No, he said Cavs.
Oh, he said Cavs.
I actually I'm not sure on this one because with both teams have injuries. Chicago's the whole team, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go with the whole team.
Okay, so just so that I got correct. Me and Tehran is on Cavs.
Oh, you're on Cavs.
You are Cavs. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and Keelan and Alan is on with the Chicago. And then the final game, Indiana at Atlanta. Indiana at Atlanta.
You did on purpose.
Listen, did they go Atlanta last time? I think Atlanta last time. I go with Indiana this time.
He did it on purpose. He trying to make me take it.
Right. So what about you, Tehran?
No, let's ask Alan. That's his team.
Oh, Alan.
What are you gonna do?
Who you going with?
Loyalty.
I mean, Indiana's one of the worst road teams in the NBA, worst teams in the NBA period. But yeah, let's say like them a straight face. Let's go, Indiana.
Hey, that's what we're talking about. Stick with your team.
And what about you? What about you, there, Keelan?
I have no idea. I really have no basis to this off of.
Let's do something that we've never done before. Is all go Indiana, just because Trey Young's
I'm really tempted to go Indiana. I'm actually, for some reason, maybe because Teresa Alberta is on her side of the team. I am really tempted to just. I mean, I actually like Trey Young. I'm really tempted to go Indiana.
They got rid of Cam Reddish.
Just a small note. In the last basketball game in the NBA that the Pacers played, it was a tight game. They were going back on defense.
I saw that.
And when the defenders decided to foul immediately as the guys inbound the ball.
Elite level tanking.
Well,
Elite level. Hey.
Anyway,
You gotta go
I
train.
don't want to go there. So Keelan, you tell me if it is Alana.
Wait. Before you say Tyrese Halliburton jumps on his jump shot, though, you sure you want to
Huh?
go trick? Tyrese Halliburton has been jumping on jumpers. He doesn't shoot set shots all the time anymore. I've seen him jump. You sure you want to go? Sure you don't want to go the jumper?
One averages 20 and 10 since he's been at ND, and the other averages about 29 and 10. I think I'm going to get the average about 29 and 10. Give me Trey, yo. Atlanta.
Okay, so that is the pick five for this week. And the leader is, as we said before, is Avenger number 2.
Kayla.
So right now, the court is adjourned.